So my prayerful salutations at the lotus feet of Bhagavan. Bhagavan has been very kind, undeservingly has given me so much to learn, and I am only going to share my thoughts, what I feel silence, because this is something very close to my heart, and people also complain that you are a loner because you are always remaining quiet. I am not a good talker. There are many misconceptions about silence. Some people believe in silence as a ritual to be practiced, and some people are actually silent. Yes, there is a difference to my mind between practicing the silence and actually being silent. Some people might be observing silence, say on Thursday, on any particular day, and they feel satisfied that they have observed Maunam. This is more a ritual rather than actually being silent. What is silence? Silence means silencing the mind or the inner chatter which goes on even if your lips are sealed. That is not silence in the spiritual sense. And I have seen people, I may be forgiven to be saying so, observing Maunam religiously every Thursday for more than 20 or 30 years, and yet full of anger and hatred and indulging in worse kind of behavior. I feel being a devotee has more religious connotation rather than spiritual. Being a devotee does not automatically make me spiritual, which is actually what Swami wants us to be. Because spirituality is not divorced from life. I'm sure we are gathered here to discuss the subject of silence not as a ritual or religious practice, but as an aspect of our being, our nature, or even personality, isn't it? Because to my knowledge, Baba has never asked us to observe silence on a particular day or days. Not that I am against observing of Maunam. Good, very good. It can help detoxing the mind as a vacation from our busy daily life schedule does, to replenish our energies and recharge ourselves. At least on the day, we would not be wasting energy by speaking unnecessarily. But silencing the mind is a serious matter, where sky is the limit. We've all heard Baba say, it's only in the depth of silence that the voice of God can be heard. And that silence can be felt only in the depths of mind, which is the limitless expanse of our inner being. There is an inner universe within us, even mightier than the outer universe. We can hear the voice of God only because our inner being is also limitless, being aspect of God Himself. Mamaivansho Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatanaha, says the Gita. Jiva Loke. Loke means body. Inside this Loka, inside this body, there is that Sanatan Ansha of the Paramatma only. We are essentially Atmas, which is part of the Paramatma, only that we do not know. We are not identified with it. When we understand this and practice silence, then it doesn't matter even if we indulge in talking or in worldly ways. Does it mean one can remain active at thought, word or deed level and yet remain silent? Yes. To me, one certainly can. As the Gita says, Tani sarvani samyamya yukta asit matparaha vashehi yasya indriyani tasya pragya pratisthita. And further, in Shloka 64 and 65, he says, Ragadvesh viyuktaistu vishayan indriyaischaran atmavashyai vidheyatma prasadam adhigachyati. Even if you indulge in worldly objects, sense objects, but if you are a vidheyatma, that is self-controlled, and if you are bereft of raga and dvesh, hatred and attachment, then prasadam adhigacchati. What is prasadam? What is the state of mind in prasadam? Prasade sarva dukkhanam hanirasya upajayate. प्रसादे सर्व दुखानाम हानिरस्य उपजायते, सब तरह के दुख खत्म हो जाते हैं, उनकी हानि हो जाती. तो and that is why we say prasanna. कोई प्रसन्न चित्त है. प्रसन्न चित्त is coming from prasad. So that is the state of mind when I am drawn within myself. I am vidheyatma. I become fully controlling my senses and having full control over raga, dvesh and moha, vimudata, all these inner enemies that we have. Then only you are in a state of raga, dvesh, which Gita calls as sthita pragya. I am saying this from my own experience in Puttaparthi in the year 1975, when forced by circumstances, some of us Sevadal members decided to observe silence even while doing our allotted chores, which we did successfully for nearly 2 weeks. I think I had mentioned about this in one of the depositions, presentations. This was a unique experience for me. Although I was used to doing meditation even earlier, but observing silence and yet discharging allotted chores with maddening crowd around you to deal with was an extraordinary experience that gave me an insight into actually living it in day-to-day life. Not that I didn't speak where it was necessary, but otherwise observing complete silence along with continuous jap and dhyan. Jap and dhyan also. I know it's not possible in real life for housewives or even office goers where so many members of the family or office are around you demanding your attention. There you cannot say, no, I'm observing more. You have to interact with them as I also had to do, but keeping it to bare minimum and continuing with inner jap and totally focusing the mind on either the job at hand and otherwise on the heart, drawn within with an image of Swami's lotus feet to hold on to. At least that is what I did. And I found nothing else interested me other than my work. And through work, I was totally absorbed in my sadhana of observing silence, feeling an ineffable peace. My efficiency increased in multiples, and I felt an inner satisfaction and fulfillment together with a blissful state of mind. This boosted my energy, and I enjoyed my work immensely. Work actually became worship to me. My leader was happy, I was happy, and what else one requires? And that is silence as an aspect of human value, shanti or peace. If one is practicing silence but has no peace inside, as we discussed above also, is he or she not wasting his time and energy? We are all Sai devotees and we know Swami said, my life is my message. And I want now your life should be my message. What is his message in one word? I know all of you would agree. It is love, selfless love. And as per Swami, love is the central value among the 5 human values, which are his gifts to us devotees, that should percolate in other 4 values, without which man is not worth being called a man. In EHV, that is Education and Human Values, Swami explained to us, man has 5 levels of personality, and each level has one human value fostering it. Love is the central value. And he said, love expressed in thoughts is Sathya or truth. And that fosters, that value of Sathya or truth fosters the intellectual personality. Love in action is dharma or righteous conduct. That fosters the physical personality. Love in feelings and emotions is the human value of peace. That fosters the mental level of personality. or the emotional level of personality. Love in its own central point is the psychic or atmic personality. That is, we are essentially Atma. And what is the lakshana of Atma? That it is love, full of love, being an aspect of God, being a part of God. Love as understanding is non-violence, the spiritual level of personality. So our real identity is Atma, which is an aspect of Paramatma. And what is Paramatma? We all know Prem Ishwar hai, Ishwar Prem hai. So everything centers around love and expression of love, selfless love. So unless we practice love, we cannot be at peace with ourselves and with the world. And unless we are at peace within ourselves, we cannot be silent. In fact, silence is the natural outcome of practice of love, true feeling of peace within. So, in fact, silence is synonymous with peace and with selfless love. What is the sign of a man at peace with himself? Swami has answered, you are a bundle of reaction, reflection, and resound. So don't react, only respond. Now, reaction, reflection, and resound are actually reacting at the man, vachan, and karma, thought, word, and deed. That is, we keep reacting at the thought, word, and deed levels. So Swami says, do not react, only respond. Now, what does it mean to respond? Our Bal Vikas children know this, know the answer to this, that Swami places so much of importance on. Referring to Gita, Swami points out to the question from Arjuna when Krishna repeatedly commands him to be stable of mind as to who is a Sthita Pragya. I mean, Krishna asking Arjuna, who is a Sthita Pragya? What are the lakshana of a Sthita Pragya? Sthita Pragya se ka bhasha, kim asit, kaise baithta hai, kaise bolta hai, kaise chalta hai? And Krishna answers, dukkheshu anudvigna manaha, sukkheshu vigata spriha. Vita raga bhaya krodha sthita dhir muniruchyate. That is 56th shloka of 2nd chapter. That is one who is unaffected by ups and downs in life and remains balanced, having conquered attachment, fear, and anger, is man of constant wisdom. Very difficult, I know. But that is why Swami is there in our life. I know once when I was in Patti, under tremendous pressure doing seva, being the leader of the Mandir group, and was feeling very dejected, almost in tears, I silently grumbled to Swami, saying, when I needed you most, you left me, Swami. Almost immediately, as if Swami replied, no, I didn't leave you. I am always holding your one hand, but you are clutching on to the world with the other hand. You have to hold me with both the hands. Then only I can help. Believe me, no sooner this thought passed my mind, I felt a surge of energy and I accomplished my task at hand successfully and zestfully. In fact, this is a scenario of our lives, all of us. We are oriented and attached to the outer world so much, whether from demands of the family, office, friends, foes, and relatives, and whatnot, that we forget Swami is always holding one hand of ours, our one hand, but our other hand is desperately clutching on to the things outside us. Need is to look within. I have an example of Dr. Sundareshan, who was Swami's student, and who in an interview, when Swami asked, soul interview, absolutely just Dr. Sundareshan Iyer and Swami. So Swami asked, what do you want? He said, Swami, you, I want you. Swami, he was a student then. So Swami said, well, I'm all the day with you students. I'm roaming about around you only, among you only. So what else do you want? No. I want you only. So Swami said, you want Swami or you want Sai? So Sundareshan Iyer says that I tried to be smart and I said, I want both. Swami said, look, Swami is here with you as long as, and pointing out towards himself, this body is there. Swami is with you as long as this body is there. But Sai is always there with you. He was always with you. He is with you and he will always remain with you. And उसके छाती पर ऐसे ठोक के बोला, inside your heart, within your heart, I'll be there always. Now tell me, you want Swami or Sai? So this fellow says that as if I had a shock of 20,000 volts, and I had never thought of this difference between Swami and Sai. And tears came rolling down into my eyes, and I just said, I want Sai. So Swami ने बड़े प्यार से उसके सिर पर हाथ रखा and said, Tathastu. बोला तो नहीं Tathastu, but kept his hand on his head and walked out. And Sundareshan Iyer says, that was the moment of my life, so defining moment of my life. And I felt an inner transformation from that very moment. And that changed my whole life. So that is what happens. Swami is no more there in physical body, but he is there inside us and he will remain within us also. I mean, as long as this universe is there, this Srishti is there, he is there. He was always there and he is there within us. So the need is only to go within. Need for us is always to be focused within, where Sai resides and knows everything. He's listening to everything. He is aware of what all we are going through, and he feels what we feel. Swami has said, no, if you shed one tear, I shed 100 tears. So he knows everything what we are going through and keeps on advising us also. He's constantly guiding us as to what is our duty or dharma under different circumstances that we face in life, as he did to Arjuna. In fact, each one of us is Arjuna, involved in constant battle of life and sandwiched between two powerful forces of virtues and vices within us. But for that, one has to constantly look within, and that is possible only in silence. Not the silence with the lips seal, but the silencing of the inner chatter. Only then the voice of Sai will be audible to us and will also be accompanied by his divine grace and blessings in the form of feeling of his divine presence that we all need. Swami has also said, life is lost in dreaming. Why? Because being is lost in becoming. Being is our true identity. Just being. What is that being? Sat, Chit, Ananda. Sat means eternal. Chit is our pure consciousness. And Ananda, always blissful. That is what our innate nature is. This is our innate true nature and identity. That is what we really are, the Sai within. Love is my form, truth is my breath, bliss is my food. That's what he says, no? My life is my message, expansion is my life. Expansion is my life. No season for love, no reason for love, no birth, no death. That is what we really are, infinite, inside of us, our mind. Mind, when I use the word mind, it is Atma plus our sanskars. That is the poison that we have in our Atma, mixed with the Atma. Pure water में एक बूंद पानी का मिल गया, तो वो जहर बन गया. Similarly, the difference between Atma and mind is that Atma is pure, Ansha of Paramatma. Mama Ivansho, Jiva Loki, Jiva Bhuta Sanata. Sanatan Ansha. But mixed with sanskaras, it becomes mind. We start identifying ourselves with what we are not. We become son or daughter, a brother or sister, Then as we grow and marry a husband, a wife, father, mother, etc., in the office, we are either employee or boss, identifying with our position. And with each identification comes the claims of ego, of I and mine, leading to clashes with the ego of others in similar positions, and so on and so forth. If in the midst of all this chaos accruing through activities in the outer world, that we have to engage ourselves as our duties and responsibilities demand, if we remain rooted to our real identity of Atman, remaining in and with its innate nature of love, we will always be at peace with ourselves and others. Then we don't have to practice silence. Silence becomes our nature and an aspect of our personality. We don't neglect our duties and responsibilities, but we discharge our duties, observing every outward situation, not reacting, but responding to each calling of duty. This way, we do full justice to our responsibilities and also remain peaceful, being anchored within our depths where eternal silence prevails. Well, this is from the perspective of a Sai devotee, but there is a third perspective, that of Vipassana, into which Swami pushed me as he was not responding to my inner desires. I repeat the word inner selfish desires, desires of the ego, egoistic desires, to have interaction with him, giving 4 interviews to my wife, my son, my family. My family even didn't have faith in him, and throwing me out of interview room. Still, he gave me this new sadhana to live by. But I must say, I did understand Swami and the reality around me and my life better only through the prism of Vipassana. Vipassana is all about experiencing. And experience, when I say experience, it cannot be mentioned in words, it cannot be described in words. You have to experience the reality. And each day, see, I told you I've been practicing for 24 years. But even now, every day, almost every day, I feel that today I have experienced something new. So this is something which, unless you practice and experience, and practicing means actually practicing. And what is that practicing? Practicing what is your reality of your existence, your reality of your life in this body and the mind. We have these two things, the body and the mind. So what is the reality? So first you are asked to focus your attention on breath. It's very difficult. I mean, to focus on the breath, I think at least for 15, 16 years, it was very, very difficult to me. And I used to feel very bored, actually, focusing on breath, बहुत I mean, hardly 2-3 minutes नहीं गुजरते, आपका mind just runs away. So it's very difficult to explain. But then, ultimately, when I felt focusing your mind, meditating on your breath is like that laser beam which goes right inside you and pierces through the layers of your mind. So while focusing attention on or meditating on breath is like a laser beam which focuses on a single point, it also takes you into the depths of your mind. And as I said, that those depths are limitless. Sky is the limit. So to explain it in words is almost very, very difficult. But then I'll have to say, mention the premise on which this was essentially a technique given by Buddha. The basic premise that Buddha gave first before explaining what is what is Vipassana, because he got the enlightenment overnight. Just in a few hours, he got the enlightenment. But then he took about 59 days sitting under the same Bodhi tree in 6 different directions as to sort of disseminate what how he should project this to the world, what he has gained, what experience he gained, the enlightenment. It's very difficult for lay man to understand. And it is not to be understood mentally only. It has to be realized. It has to be, say, if I say rasgulla or say some other sweet, kya difference hai? I cannot explain it in words. The best way is to actually bring a plate of rasgulla and for you to savor it. And only when you savor the rasgulla, you understand the taste of rasgulla. So Vipassana is something like that. But then there are basic premises, because essentially, as we all know, Buddha was, the Buddha's father was very much concerned that this man, my son, should not become a recluse, sadhu na ho jaye, ghar chhod ke na chala jaye. So he was kept in all sorts of luxuries around him, not allowed to meet koi dukhi aadmi na ho. But when he went out, just ghumne bahar gaya, he saw the sick man, he saw a dead man, and he saw a sadhu, and then that triggered his that inner thing that was there. So essentially, his basic premise was life is misery. Life is full of misery. Then, is there any way out? He found yes, there is a way out, and there is a way also, which he called Ashtanga Marga. So these he called the four Arya Satya, noble truths. These four noble truths were the basic premise on which whatever knowledge he gained through experience was based. So all that will take time, beta. I'll have to explain all that also. Something more as to why we should meditate on breath, and then sensations within the body. Now sensations, जब मैं कहता हूँ तो how to why to meditate on sensations? I mean, people object. ये क्या मतलब शरीर के ऊपर meditate करना, sensations के ऊपर, breath के ऊपर meditate? Why not think of God? The सच्चित आनंद, उसके बारे में क्यों नहीं बताते हो? लोग ये ऑब्जेक्शन करते हैं, इसलिए ये बहुत जरूरी होता है कि these things should be explained. So if you give me some other day and time, I'll be very happy. How to focus on silence? You don't have to focus on silence. Why should you focus? Silence is an outcome of your focus. You can focus on your heart. You can focus on your heart. And silence will ensue automatically. You don't have to, because heart is कहते हैं मंदिर जो है, वो मंदिर is a place of silence. So if you focus your attention on your heart, automatically you feel the silence. You have to feel the silence. You need not focus on silence, because essentially you are consciousness. You are consciousness. You are not body. You are not even the mind. But if you focus on your heart, because heart is something where you can focus your attention on. So if you focus, because from that is where I come emanates. That feeling of I, not just the voice of I, but the feeling of I. And Raman Maharshi used to, advocate meditation on that I. Who am I? So I am that I am. I am pure existence. If you focus on heart, you are actually focusing on the Atma, and that Atma is always, limitless. That is where the silence prevails. See, I often say that when you go in heights, vacation में हम जाते हैं, शिमला जाते हैं, दार्जिलिंग जाते हैं, लिमिटलेस वो माउंटेन जहाँ है बिल्कुल हाइट पर, या फिर ओशन देखते हैं, तो what happens? You feel so good. Why? Because the infinity outside that you see actually connects with the infinity within. You feel at one with the nature around you. You feel at one with the universe around you. Well, essentially, we are that awareness. It is only the level. Where does my awareness, at what level it resides? That we become. So if we dwell on our heart, हृदय मंदिर में अगर हम फोकस करते हैं, of course, जैसे मैंने किया था, it is not very easy to focus on your heart unless you have something. So you see the lotus feet, अपने हृदय में स्वामी के चरण देखो, because Swami is there, there's no doubt. But Swami के चरण देखो, because we are used to form. So focus your attention on the form. Charan, Swami ke charan, and mentally hold on to the lotus feet. Automatically you will feel silence. It is only in the depth of silence that the voice of God is heard. And the depth of silence is only in that silence has to be felt. I mean, you cannot focus. It will automatically result. So you have to feel that, and who can feel? It is our mind that can feel. We have to feel that silence, and where we can feel it, it is only in the depth of our hearts. Depth of silence is nothing but the depth of the mind, and in its purest form, in its deepest form, it is the heart. So focus on your heart and see the lotus feet, or even you can see Lord Shiva. I used to do that also. रामन महर्षि का वो करने के बाद, पढ़ने के बाद, excellent. Raman Maharshi's philosophy, if you read, so focusing on that heart, from where does that sound I come? And that I, sound of I, is the sound of Paramatma. That is where the God resides. And he keeps calling you, keeps talking to you. So focusing even on I. Who is that I? Let me feel myself. Even if I feel myself, I. It is not in the individualistic sense, but it is that where does that I emanate from? Where does it come from? Where does it rise from? That voice, that sound of I will lead you to that silence. You see, as I said, it is not easy to concentrate on breath, which Vipassana requires us to do. So the easy way is to feel the breath here, just below the nose and above the upper lip. This एक खड्डा होता है ना, नाक के नीचे हमारे एक खड्डा होता है. That point is very important because it connects us straight to the Manipur chakra. Manipur chakra is the point where our ego resides. Our sense of being an individual. हमारा ego वहाँ reside करता है Manipur chakra में, where I see myself as an individual. So अपने ऊपर अगर हमको ले जाता है, so that is the point. Breathe, feel the breath touching here at this point. The touch of the breath at this point, it becomes easy to focus on breath. Although it will still run away, it will still keep on running away, till one day through continuous practice you will feel the breath. Breath has got a wavy, this sort of wavy udayve. They call it Udaya in Vipassana, you will feel a wavy sensation that focusing on the breath, that breath will lead you to a sensation within where the whole of the body will appear to you like an ocean, rising and falling, rising and falling down, like that. तो वो है that connects you to the life force energy, वही है sensation. And then, जैसे it is very easy to, actually it is easy to feel sensation. जैसे हमारे सिर दर्द हो रहा है, पेट दर्द हो रहा है, कुछ कहीं इरिटेशन हो रहा है, पसीना आ रहा है, खुजली हो रही है. Don't we feel these? These are sensations, bodily sensations. But those are gross sensations. Those are gross sensations. There are sensations occurring at the deepest level of our mind, not known to our conscious mind. The deepest level of our mind में sensations होते रहते हैं. Why it is important to feel them? Because we keep on reacting to them inwardly without our knowing. We keep reacting to those sensations inside only. And that is how the sanskaras are formed. अब कुछ होता है, outwardly कुछ हुआ, तो हमने react किया उसको बाहर. How powerful that experience was, on that will depend कि वो कितना strong संस्कार का बीज हमारे अंदर चला गया. एक बीज हमारे अंदर चला जाता है, that goes into our mind, और धीरे धीरे वो नीचे होता जाता है. If it is very powerful, वो नीचे है. Otherwise, most of the experiences are just like, line drawn on the water. हमको बताते हैं वो बुद्धा जी, भगवान बुद्ध ने बताया, there are 3 types of impressions that are left in the mind. जैसे पानी के ऊपर, if you try to draw a line, well, you won't be able to. Then on sand, if you draw a line on the sand, it will remain for a few seconds or a minute, and then again with the whiff of wind it will go away. But then there are some impressions that you do with the hammer and chisel. पत्थर के रॉक के ऊपर कुछ अपना नाम लिख दिया, कोई लाइन ड्रॉ कर दिया, that also will wither away, but it will take some years. It will stay for longer time. So some experience in our lives are like them, and these are the ones which cause sanskaras. And वो बीज फॉर्म में हमारे अंदर deeper layers of हमारे वो सुषुप्ति की अवस्था में वो हमारे they are like sleeping volcanoes. They can erupt, and हमारे past several births से, we have accumulated so many oceans of sanskaras. They are lying embedded in our deeper layers of our mind, and वो कभी कभी they erupt and they surface to the mind and come for fruition, and at that time they make us feel. There are 3 different types of sensations: pleasant, unpleasant, and neither pleasant nor unpleasant. ऐसे भी 3 तरह के वो. तो राग, द्वेष और मोह, ये हमको विपश्यना में बताते हैं. राग is I like, when I feel the sensation, I like it, I want more of it. Rag. Dvesha, I don't like this sensation. Like, sometimes you see someone and for no rhyme or reason you don't like him, you dislike that man for no rhyme or reason. क्यों, क्या हुआ? So something inside comes to the surface and triggers. So we have rag, dvesh, unpleasant sensation, and then moh vimurta. मोह के संस्कार भी है कि वो, there is no reason, you don't like them or you don't dislike them, but they are there because we have been used to reacting. So that is why those reactions leave those impressions. So वो संस्कार जो है, as long as the sanskaras are there, we are bound to take birth. एक भी संस्कार रह जाता है तो that will be enough to, strong sanskar. So वो that will be enough to make me take another birth. जैसे मैं अक्सर अक्सर बोलता हूँ, मैं तो आई एम फॉन्ड ऑफ सिंगिंग, I'm fond of singing. I'm a music lover. So, but that is also a संस्कार. अच्छे संस्कार भी जन्म देते हैं. So, supposing theoretically, let's assuming that I have been able to clear all my sanskaras. Only this sanskara is left. I will have to take another birth to fulfill this sanskara. Unless I get rid of even this sanskara, I will not get mukti, moksha. Moha kshiyate iti mukti. मोह, मोह जब attachment, I am attached to that sanskara. I'm fond of that. I'm attached to that. I like to have that type of sensations. It is not just the sense object. हमारे 5 senses हैं, उनके objects हैं. It is not just the objects which cause attachment. It is the impression that they give, the sensations that they create within our body. As per Vipassana. Each sensation causes each sensation causes likes or dislike. That is sanskara. Likes or dislike, and it is we react to those likes and dislikes and moha that we create more sanskaras for us, for ourselves. गुस्सा आता है हमको, किसी चीज के बारे में गुस्सा आता है. क्यों आता है गुस्सा? क्योंकि वो संस्कार हमारे अंदर है. हम इंटरनली वी कीप ऑन इन डीपर लेयर्स ऑफ आवर माइंड, वी कीप ऑन रिएक्टिंग विदाउट आवर नोइंग. Our conscious mind is not aware, but the subconscious mind is very, very powerful, and that subconscious mind is a storehouse of पूरा भरा हुआ stocks संस्कार से. And those sanskaras are what Vipassana में we have to, जैसे सरफेस होता, क्योंकि सरफेस होते रहते हैं, संस्कार सरफेस होते रहते हैं in the form of sensations. So we have to keep on observing. Pashyana, pashyati. विशेषण पश्यति इति विपश्यना. विशेष रूप से जब हम देखना शुरू करते हैं, वो विशेष रूप क्या है कि विदाउट रिएक्टिंग, intuitively we tend to react to whatever sensation we get. But if we can develop the habit of simply dekhna, vipassana, simply observing it, simply let it pass, let this sensation pass. So वो संस्कार निकल गया, स्टॉक ऑफ संस्कार. मैं एक छोटा सा एग्जाम्पल दूंगा आपको. तो मेरे को ये जब सर्दियां आती हैं तो मेरे को बहुत इधर खांसी आती है या खारिश होती है. Rashes, I get rashes all over the body. Either the khansi or the rashes. So once I went for 20 days camp, Vipassana में 20 days camp में गया. सर्दी के दिन थे, जयपुर में पहाड़ी के ऊपर वो कैंप है वहां पे. तो मेरे को रात को ये खारिश होने लगी. तो वहां वो बोलते हैं भोगना तो पड़ेगा, लेकिन भोक्ता बनकर भी भोग सकते हो और दृष्टा बनकर भी भोग सकते हो. भोगना तुमको पड़ेगा ही, लेकिन भोक्ता बनकर भोगना चाहते हो या दृष्टा बनकर भोगना चाहते हो, ये तुम्हारे ऊपर है. एंड दृष्टा बनकर भोगो मतलब उसको लेट इट पास, यू आर ऑब्जर्विंग इट. और भोक्ता बनकर का मतलब खारिश आई तो खारिश किया. खारिश जब किया तो क्या हुआ? मोर ऑफ संस्कारास. यू आर क्रिएटिंग मोर ऑफ दो संस्कारास बाय गेटिंग इन्वॉल्व्ड इनटू that sensation. So मेरे को खारिश हुई बहुत. तो एकदम से याद आ गया कि ओहो, भोक्ता बनकर मैं तो भोक्ता बनकर भोग रहा हूं, मैं तो दृष्टा बनना भूल गया. विपश्यना करने आया हूं, अब देखना है मुझे, पर देखने के बजाय मैं इसको तो भोग रहा हूं. सो मैंने एकदम क्या किया, पंखा फुल स्पीड, सर्दी के दिन थे, पंखा, एंड आई एम वेरी ससेप्टेबल टू कोल्ड, बट मैंने पंखा फुल कर दिया, बनियान भी उतार दी, और ऐसे करके खारिश आ रही थी. खारिश मतलब गर्माइश होती. ऐसे करके मैं ऐसे मैं पड़ा रहा जमीन पर. बिलीव मी, विद इन फ्यू मिनट्स आई वेंट टू स्लीप. मेरे को नींद आ गई और खारिश वारिश सब गायब हो गई. बिकॉज आई बिकेम दृष्टा. मैं खारिश नहीं करूं, चाहे जितनी मर्जी खारिश आए, मैं देखता रहा, बर्दाश्त करता रहा. मैंने खारिश नहीं की, एंड थोड़ी देर के बाद वो गायब हो गया. So, as is said also, the easiest way out of suffering is through them. You go through the suffering and the suffering dissipates automatically after some time. What is the reason that people like Swami or for that matter Ramakrishna Paramhans and all these people come? Bhakti marg एक ऐसा मार्ग है, भक्ति ज्ञान कर्म, ये बोला ना, तो भक्ति इज इजी, दैट इज रादर इजी, भगवान के हम भक्त बन जाए, लेट अस कंसंट्रेट ऑन द लोटस फीट, स्वामी को करें, राम को या कृष्ण को या किसी भी फॉर्म के ऊपर, दैट इज रादर इजी. देयर आर बीइंग्स 31 लोकस, देयर आर बीइंग्स इन upper 4 where there is no body. There are people, there are living beings without any body. ऊपर के 31 है layers of existence, जिसमें upper 4 जो है are without the body, and there the person lives for thousands of years. लेकिन the mind is still there. For them, even for them, the mind is still there. And mind means sanskaras. Mind means sanskaras. So as long as the sanskaras are there, that person who will be enjoying, because he'll be enjoying because he doesn't have any suffering. And suffering means the body. We suffer only through the body. The suffering is felt by the mind. But where does the mind feel? It is only in the body. Where does the mind stay? The mind stays in the body. Every inch of the body, the mind is there. Otherwise, there is no place for the mind. Not in the head, not in our heart, nothing. Whole of the body, the mind is there. And body is the playground for the mind. And it wants to keep a hold on it. So, as long as the mind is there, the suffering will be there. Because the moment the sanskaras are filled at that level, he'll have to take a birth and go through the suffering again, like any ordinary human being. So, all bhakti marg is there. Then seva marg hai, seva, karm marg, तो doing your karma, कर्मण्येवा अधिकारस्ते मा फलेषु कदाचन, कर्म का फल त्याग दो, भगवान को अर्पण कर दो, वो एक तरीका है. कर्म योग है, भक्ति योग है, ध्यान योग है. 6 types of yogas are there, बताए, गीता में भी बताए. That's how we can get rid of some of the sanskara, not entirely. Vipassana is the only way where you can get rid of sanskaras which are in the deepest layers of our mind, because it deals with those sanskaras. The aim is only to get rid of the sanskaras and to see and locate those sanskaras, bring them to the surface and get rid of them by simply observation. And mind well, when Buddha gave this technique, he didn't give it as a separate religion. He said that I'm not preaching any religion, because his entire technique was based on 3 things: moral practices, then control over mind, and then wisdom. These 3 things. Shil, Samadhi, Pragya. These are the basic 3 things on which entire Vipassana rests. And this moral practice, which religion would object? Control over mind, which religion would object? And then wisdom, that is insightful living. You see the sanskaras and deal with them and get rid of them. That is pragya, wisdom, insightful living. These are just 3 disciplines which no religion would object to, which is what Buddha taught. Jai Sai Rama, Jai Raghurama, Jai Sai Rama, Jai Raghurama, Jai Sai Rama, जय रघुरामा जय साई रामा जय रघुरामा। दुखियों के दाता साई रामा, दुखियों के दाता साई रामा। प्रेमावतारा साई रामा, शांत स्वरूपा साई रामा, शांत स्वरूपा साई राम। जय साई रामा जय रघुरामा जय साई रामा जय रघुरामा।